Hello everyone, Survivor gameplay from Dead by Daylight. Gas Heaven, or Gas Heaven, I always say Gas Heaven, I don't know why. Gas Heaven, Auto Heaven Wreckers. One of the best Survivor running maps. Just palette study this map. You see here we've got Thrill of the Hunt. That gives the killer a notification when someone's touching totems. It can really mess with the killer's head. That's the chances are if the killer's running Thrill of the Hunt, it's not just for points, because Thrill of the Hunt really gives very little points. I think it's only 8% bonus for each totem left. If not one totem's busted, well, you get a 40% bonus to your hunting or some hunting category. It's really nothing, and you know there's always going to be totems busted, so it's the killers really just use that for a heads up whenever someone's touching totems. You see we've got Hex Rune there. Well, I imagine this killer's got a few other hexes as well, and that Thrill of the Hunt's only really just to give the killer a heads up when someone's touching totems. If you can touch a regular totem, well, at the start of the game, well, the chances are the rest of the team hasn't found the hexes, and it really can mess the killer around. That killer saying, right, someone's touching my hex, I better go and patrol my hexes, and that can really buy time for the survivors to get a gen done, or especially if it's a dangerous gen in the middle of the map, one that's really linked close to another gen. There's times there that I will just touch a normal totem, and you know that killer's going to the hexes. The killer doesn't know which totem's been touched, but the killer knows that someone's touching a totem, and they just assume that it's one of the hexes, and you're really just on a regular totem. This killer had all the hexes in this game. This killer had Hex Rune, Defire Hope, and No One Escapes Death, and Thrill of the Hunt. This killer had 4 hexes in this game. And the rest of the team, they really busted all the totems in this game. I don't think that any of those guys run a small game or anything like that. I love small game, real great underrated perk. I really wish more survivors would run small game, because running around busting all totems, it's really time consuming, and if the killer's really doing damage to the survivors, well, you really need to be doing gens and not running around doing totems, because the chances are it's not going to get to the end of the game where the exit gate gets opened anyway. Normally when you spawn in the trial, you always spawn on the edge of the map, so the first thing I would do is the first exit gate I pass, I'll bust that totem, because you really don't want No One Escapes Death spawning near an exit gate. And I wouldn't just go and search for another exit gate just to take that one out as well, but I would go and do a gen then, and any totem that I would find on my travels from gen to gen, I would just remember we're there, and sooner or later then I'm going to pass that other exit gate. Well, I'm going to take out that totem. There's always a totem near an exit gate, because time's so precious in this game. You just really can't just run around busting all totems, unless it's really going in the survivor's favour, where it's really quick getting gens done and hardly anyone's been hooked. No one's been even hooked twice, so I would probably go and bust all totems then. And the hag's the way back to the hook here, so I'll deactivate that trap that I saw her put down. I know she's not going to come back to that trap while she's been in a chase. It's real solid totem advice, so it is. If you could get those 2 exit gate totems busted, and you've got 3 totems left then, and if no one escapes death does spawn, while you're running from gen to gen, with your small game, you're going to get those audio cues. And just remember where the location is. Because if both exit gates have been taken out, if you've passed 2 of the 3 totems that's left in the map, well, you've got a 66% chance then of finding that totem. And if the killer downs someone with no one escapes death, well, you forget about going to exit gate. You go to those locations where you remembered where you got the audio cue. And chances are you'll find that no one escapes death. But the hag's been on me the most of this game here, so I really never got to find that second exit gate. Luckily the other team, they busted all the hexes and they got that last dull totem as well. I was really happy with this run. I don't always put up a great run in this game. There'll be so many games where my running's really full of mistakes, but I've taken a hit here in this pallet here. Really shouldn't have been looping that pallet. That's a good pallet to loop if you're playing someone tall that you can see their head above that barrier, but it's the hag, and I had to concentrate low down. Do you see the red stain? It gets tough, and I'm running into traps all over the place here. Yeah, thankfully I've taken that trap down at the start, so I've got a few extra loops here now. And the hag's going to place another trap. At this stage I'm not really worried about this trap here. I was hoping to get the pallets done there. Look, I'm running into hag traps at hooks here now and everything. I had to use my dead hard. I'm really up against it. But I found the right jungle gym. I like these jungle gyms with the 2 windows. You could really go through 6 windows here. And those type of jungle gyms. Bait the killer, and I knew she was going to catch me going through the window, so I faked the window there. I tried to bait her onto it again, but she wasn't buying it the second time. She was going to get me going through that window anyway. But I was real happy with that run there. I think there was 4 gens remaining when that hag was first on me there, so it was a real good enough run. And the team was really quick taking out those gens. But that hag was struggling there with my boil over. She was wobbling in the trees all over the place, and I needed that luck there. She really couldn't get me to the hook. There, my small game's been activated again there. I know that's a hag trap, so I really changed direction there and avoided that. Real great perk, small game. Even for playing against the trapper. The trapper always places the traps on the long grass, and you really don't know where they are. But I'm giving Totem advice in this video, and it really wasn't probably the best video to be giving that advice, considering the hag was on me there the most of the game. But normally that's what I would do. Normally when you spawn in, you're near an exit gate, well, take out that totem right away, go and find the gen, and any totem then that you find on your way, just leave it there and remember where that location is. And when you're going from gen to gen, well, you'll pass the second exit gate. We'll take that one out as well. That way you're not wasting time in case it's a real good game for the killer where people are getting killed and you're running around wasting time not doing gens. It's really the best strategy of busting totems is try and get the 2 exit gate ones, but just don't go out of your way to do them. Get the one at the start when you first spawn in near the exit gate. Normally you're at the edge of the map anyway. Well, just take that exit gate totem out, and then when you're going from gen to gen, you'll find totems. Just remember where they are. Even if you only find 2, there's always a totem near an exit gate. Well, some point later on in the game you get that second exit gate totem. Well, if you've found 2 other totems, just remember where they are. You've got a 66% chance of finding that no one escapes death, but more likely with the small game you'll find all 3, and it's not near an exit gate, and you know the killer's going to patrol the exit gate. Well, you can just go to the middle of the map or wherever those totem locations are, and you're really safe busting that no one escapes death. It's not something I always had done, but it's something that I've been doing recently, and it's really a far better strategy. It's really not time consuming, and it's a real efficient way of dealing with no one escapes death.